Hi and welcome, I'm George Williams, and today we're going to talk about work order priorities. So the priority field inside your CMMS is associated with the work order typically, although it can pass over from the PM module. We're not really going to discuss that today. But essentially it tells you how fast you have to respond to a work order. And so first up for us is an emergency. An emergency work order is fire, flood, loss of company property, damage to the property, immediate loss of production, something that you have to stop the middle of a job and go respond. If you have to stop immediately and respond or send someone to respond, that's an emergency work order. Next up is urgent. So urgent is typically, I don't need you to stop what you're currently doing, but the second somebody wraps up, I need somebody over here. And so this is as soon as possible. This is typically within the day or within a day or so. And based on your organization, you can define that. Next up is a priority work order. A priority work order is, I don't need it to be next on your list, but it has to happen before the planning process. So it doesn't have enough time to go through the planning process. I don't need you to stop immediately. I don't need it to be the next job on your list, but it can't wait for planning. And so it's a priority work order. And the length of time for this is under 2 weeks. So if we assume that the planning process takes 2 weeks to plan and get on a schedule, then this is work that's less than 2 weeks, but not hurry up and get over here. Next up is normal. A normal work order is something that has an opportunity to go through the planning process. So if it has an opportunity to get properly planned, get all the materials on site, get it onto a schedule, and then go get executed in the field, that is a normal work order. The next one, and again, this is based on your response time. The next one for me is shutdown. Now, there could be some debate around whether or not you need a work order priority for shutdown or some other way to designate the work as being part of shutdown and then lump it into the planning bucket, which is normal. But for me, I like to have something that's very clean and simple and a way to designate, here's all the work I need to do at shutdown without putting codes and descriptions and things like that. So this work order priority says, it's going to go through the planning process, but it doesn't have to go on a schedule right away until I have a plant shutdown. So if I'm going to have a major steam shutdown or electrical shutdown, this work gets put into that bucket. The reason I like to separate it out is if you're looking at how long it takes to go through the process of getting a work order scheduled, this particular work order type can be excluded from that process as these are. And so it's very simple to kind of run the metrics along that lines. Now, some common misuses. In terms of emergency, sometimes you'll see folks using that as a work order type. And we're going to talk about work order types in another video, but emergency is not a work order type. And the reason for that is it'll end up getting lumped in with corrective or breakdown maintenance or some other bucket. And so priority we like to use for how fast you have to respond. You have to define this. Your organization is different than every other organization. This is not a pre-canned item, although I would say as a general rule of thumb, I have to respond now. I need it to be the next thing on the list. It doesn't wait for planning. It can wait for planning. Not only can I plan it, but I need a shutdown. And so there's our priority list for your CMMS. Have a great day.